Welcome to the Supreme Grammar Podcast, where you can learn to write like a Supreme Court Justice with me, Jill Barton. In this short episode, our AI hosts review how to avoid embarrassing mistakes in legal writing. It takes real human editing because we can't rely on spell check or AI to do the editing for us. Let's listen in.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are diving into something really critical if you work in the legal field or, honestly, if you just want your writing to be clearer. Nailing that precision. We're aiming for that laser focus, trying to sidestep those common, sometimes, pretty embarrassing mistakes that technology, even sophisticated AI, just doesn't catch. Our guide for this deep dive is The Handbook for the New Legal Writer by Rachel H. Smith and Jill Barton. It's excellent. And our mission, to really get why in legal writing, maybe more than anywhere else, clarity and exactness aren't just nice to haves, they're foundational. Every single word counts.
That's exactly right. And what the handbook points out, which is interesting, is that sure, good writing principles apply everywhere, but legal writing has these unique pressures. You've got complex ideas, really high stakes, and you absolutely need clarity. That's why the push for plain, simple language isn't about dumbing things down. It's because the subject itself is complex. So the language needs to be simple and precise to, communicate effectively.
Right. Crystal clear, direct communication. And a huge part of that, according to the handbook, is picking the exact right word. They've got this whole section on commonly confused words. It's like a minefield of potential errors.
And this is precisely where just relying on your spell checker or even some AI writing tools really falls short. I mean, they're great for typos, basic grammar, sure. But they often won't flag a word that's spelled correctly, but is just plain wrong for the meaning you intend.
Exactly. Like the handbook mentions trial versus trail, both real words. But you obviously mean trial, the court proceeding, not, a path in the woods, filing, something like that. That's the kind of mistake this handbook helps you catch. Embarrassing.
Or think about those classics it covers. Effect versus effect. Effect with an A, almost always a verb, meaning to influence something. Effect with an E, usually the noun, the result, or the consequence. If you swap those, you could seriously alter the meaning of a sentence about, say, causation or impact in a legal argument.
Yeah, and it's versus its is another big one. Possessive versus it is.
Yeah.
Getting that wrong in a contract or a brief, that could create real confusion about ownership or, what you're referring to. That's a huge problem.
It really is. The handbook makes it so clear that precision here isn't just about sounding educated. It's about preventing misinterpretations that could have serious legal fallout. And that story is not in the specific handbook, but it fits perfectly about sua sponte, the Latin term meaning on its own accord, getting auto-corrected everywhere in a motion to sea sponge.
Oh, the sea sponge story. Yes, a classic cautionary tale. And someone actually filed that. It just perfectly shows why you need more than just spell check, like the handbook insists.
Absolutely. The source stresses using standard dictionaries, yes, but also legal dictionaries for those terms of art, and legal style guides. These are the resources that give you the definitive meanings, the nuances, the proper usage that technology just can't always figure out. They help you choose the one word that says exactly what you mean and nothing else.
Okay, so how does picking that one right word link back to the handbook's other ideas, like make every word count and using vigorous English?
Well, when you use the most precise word, your writing naturally becomes leaner. It gets more direct, more forceful, more vigorous. You automatically cut out the fluff, the ambiguity, those extra modifiers you might use if the word itself isn't quite right. So instead of something weak like this had an effect on the outcome, a precise verb might show the influence directly. Precise words just carry more weight, more meaning, efficiently. That is making every word count. And that clarity makes your writing more modern, more effective for your audience. It's about function.
That makes perfect sense. It's strategy, not just grammar rules.
Precisely. Mastering these small word choices, using the right resources as your guide, that builds the foundation for really strong professional legal writing. Writing that actually works.
Fantastic. So let's leave you with a final thought from this deep dive, drawing from the handbook's call for vigilance. If clarity and precision are really your goals, think about a word you use often, maybe one you used just today. Could you take 30 seconds right now to look it up? In a good dictionary, maybe a legal one, just to be absolutely sure you're using it with its most exact intended meaning.
Even when I think I know them, I look up words every day just to be sure they carry exactly the meaning I want. It's a simple habit and a good writing practice. Tune in next time for tips on keeping your modifiers perfectly placed. And remember, you can be a great legal writer